All right. Wickedy wicked, wickedy whack. Let's do some music. Wickedy wicked, wickedy whack. I'm the greatest singer. I'm not hearing anything. You hearing something? Looks like you're hearing something. Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. And speech chat is enabled. Wickedy wicked. What next? Let's tweet and Discord and all that sort of stuff. And check my titles. Check my titles before I wreck my titles. All right, good. Shibbidi-boo-boo-bow. Promote yourself. Alright, let's make sure I'm actually live before I send out links. Whoops, there we go. That says I'm offline. Am I only on Twitch right now? Did I mess up my setup? Am I live on anything? Am I talking to myself? Okay. Interesting. What's the site that I'm looking at? It's not Restream. What's the other one? Joycaster. Let's see what's going on over there. Man, I shaved today for this. I mean, not everything, obviously, but... It seems to think I'm live. Oh, I am. There we go. Okay, cool. Rickety right. And where's HWA? Self-promo. Alright. Super-de-duper, everyone. That's great. It's fantastic. I'm so clever. I can send links out to people. Alright, so... So what should we call it? Like table match, or... The idea of this game is really simple. It's just going to be boxes. You open the boxes, whoop, and check to see if things match inside the boxes. Super simple. But it's in augmented reality, so that might make it more cool. Probably not, but whatever. All right, so... We'll call it Matchbox AR. Let's check out that on the Google Play Store. Google Play Apps. All right. Good. Okay, so we've got that. Let's add some asset packages. So cute pet. We'll use those for characters inside the boxes. Goat. I don't need the goat. I don't need that. Well, I could use the monster pack instead. No, let's just go with cute animals. AR kit, VRTK world. No, let's add the cute pets to start. And in eSource template, we'll enable analytics for the KO group. Create project. Okay. And while it's building that, I'm going to look up AR Core for Unity. All right, AR Core dev site is now available. See blog posts for more information. Shared AR. And I actually want to add shared AR later, but come on, yo. Good morning, Potassium. How you doing today? All right, there really should be. How's my project build going? It's okay. It's almost there. So the game today is I'm gonna make the classic match game where you flip two things over and see what's underneath. Oh, I'm sorry you were sick last night. Oh man, dive right in, get started. All right. Here's the downloads. Okay, so we want Unity. Agree. So, all right. SDK for Unity. So, AR Core works for iOS? What is that? That doesn't make sense. All right, so we'll put that in downloads. AR Core for iOS? What? AR Core 1.2 includes iOS build support and Cloud Anchor. What? What? Okay, so this is complete news to me that AR Core by Android is designed to work on iOS and Android. All right, well, that's awesome. Okay, so while the AR Core thing is downloading, I will... What? All right, so I'm going to do my typical setup here, which is I always start by creating my folders. So I have a KOVR folder, which is our company name, and then I create a folder for scripts, and I create a folder for prefabs, and I create a folder for materials, and that's good to start. Oh, and scenes. Create a folder for scenes. Now, the funny thing is I only ever use one scene, but now I'm going to create my main scene. We're going to call it main. And then I'm going to go into here. I'm going to delete the default scene. And then I'm going to go into my scenes, and I'm going to open my scene. Now, don't save. Now, it's the exact same as the other scene, but for some reason, Unity started adding a new thing that's called default scene, and I don't like my scenes to be called default scene. I just like main. That's my main scene. It's easy to find. I always know where it is. So, next we're going to switch platforms to Android, and good. Commander Root, welcome to the channel. How's it going? I see Kappa lurking in Twitch. Welcome, welcome. I have been away for a while, and by away I mean slightly unstable mentally and not into streaming. I just turned 45. Is what happened. and I had that 45-year-old slight breakdown. Alright, so while it's switching, yeah. Lots of stuff to import. I really should just have like a clean project set up the way I want it. I feel super scruffy. Yeah, I haven't like buzzed the sides in a while, and like I just feel like blarg 45. Being 45 is like, it's like, oh well, I'm done now. It's time to give up. So, but I'm working my way out of the hole right now. So. The mental hole of midlife crisis. Oh my god, I saw the greatest midlife crisis book. Let me just... Here we go. It's called The Lady Bird Book of the Midlife Crisis. So it looks awesome. Let me get some let's do a little preview here. Here we go. So when we are young, we all dream of doing something wonderful and exciting with our lives. What will it be? A cosmonaut? An underwater detective? A Tommy gunner? A groin surgeon? Anything is possible. And then one day, it isn't. love the groin surgeon. Jason's midlife crisis started on Sunday morning in the B&Q when he spotted a tub of boat varnish. I will never own a boat, he thought to himself. Jason has never wanted to own a boat, but now not owning one is all he can think about. Like, that's so the midlife crisis. Anyway. Alright, so I'm going to go to my downloads. I'm going to import the AR Core package. And then I'm going to wait, and I'm going to wait some more. All right, import. Good. The start of the project is always the like absolute most boring part, because you've got to get all the bits in the project that you know you're going to need to use. Blue Trucks, welcome to the stream. So, yep. Basically, for those of you who are just joining us, for those of you joining us late in the broadcast, it's actually not that late in the broadcast, so I'm like 8 minutes in. What we're building today is the classic memory match game where you flip over two things and see if they match. We're building in an augmented reality using boxes and little animals inside, and the idea is that I want to be able to make it multiplayer so that you tap to open to and then pass it to someone else, and it'll detect when you're passing the phone somewhere else, like this with your hand. That's how I pass my phone. That's how everyone passes their phone. Deal with it. All right, I'm glad to be streaming. Yeah, I feel like it's been too long since I last streamed. Oh, look at all that. Look at all that. All those achievements from Minecraft. I'm really enjoying the Minecraft Aquatic update, by the way. I know Minecraft isn't cool, isn't Battle Royale, but I still like it. I still love it. Okay, come on. This is taking forever. Oh, can I go to the package? All right. So Blue Trucks, I'm making an AR Core, so an augmented reality game for Android devices and apparently iOS too. The game is the classic memory match game. So, and I'm just doing it to try out the new Google's AR Core tools. I just found out this morning that their new AR Core platform will also work on iOS, which is amazing to me, and that you'll be able to enable cross-platform, so from Android to iOS, augmented reality play. So two people can be in the same room on different devices and playing the same augmented reality game. So I picked a super simple game, which is the easiest thing I could think of, and I'm starting to build it from there. So I'm going to build it single player first. That's what I'm going to try and accomplish today. I have until about 9:50, so I have 1 hour from now. Yeah, so I have about an hour from right this moment. It looks like that processing is done. Okay, so I'm going to go to my package manager. And I am going to add in Pro Builder so that I can build the boxes. And ProGrids. And ProGrids. ProGrids! Alright, it's still waiting on Pro Builder. Yeah. So, okay. So weird thing about Cyberpunk. I am old, as you may or may not have noticed. In my super oldness, I used to play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. I used to play a lot of all sorts of role-playing games. I was obsessed with pen and paper role-playing games, and especially, you know, from like 17 to 21-ish kind of thing. Actually, I guess more like 13 to 21-ish. So there was like an 8-year period in there where I was playing pen and paper RPGs on the daily. and I played one called Teenagers from Outer Space, which is a pen and paper RPG that we affectionately referred to as TFOS, T-F-O-S. Let me pop it open here. So, this was one of my favorite role-playing games, and because the rules were ridiculous. The cover was amazing. Like look at that cover. Like, it's like a dude with like multiple vertical eyes and mouths, girl with a mohawk, weird like pig thing also with a mohawk. Mohawks were big. I have a mohawk today probably because of this game. I mean, let's face it, there's got to be some weird reason deep in my psyche why I did this, and I would guess that it is this game. So, anyway, I recently found out that it was created by Michael Pondsmith, and Michael Pondsmith was also the creator of Cyberpunk. And so, when I found that out, I was like, holy crud, like a game by like one of my favorite pen and paper RPG creators, by like the makers of The Witcher. How had I not heard about this? How had I not become obsessed with this before? And so now I have both heard about it and become obsessed about it, and all is right in the universe. Done. Sold. All right, so all right, so we've got Pro Builder, Pro Grids, that's all installed. We have our Google AR Core. Now there should be some examples in here. In order to expedite things, I'm going to do the typical Hello AR import. So we're going to grab all this stuff, and I'm going to go back to my main scene. This is the absolute simplest way to get started. There we go, and I'm going to delete my camera. So, this example controller is what we'll be replacing. This AR Core device is what your phone does. So that's basically represents your phone within the scene, and that camera is what you see through your phone. This plane generator generates the background. The point cloud generates sort of a mesh. We've got an environmental light, a directional light. The canvas is for your, it shows scanning for surfaces sort of thing. And then the event system handles all of your different axes. Axes? Axis size? Anyway, you know, you get what I'm saying. All right, so that's the basic thing. So this example controller is what we're replacing. So instead, we're going to create our own empty object, and we're going to call this the Matchbox controller, because I'm calling my game Matchbox because you're matching boxes, because I'm so original. All right, and so we're going to call this KOVR. It's called Matchbox AR. We don't have an icon for it yet, but we are going to go into our other settings, and we're going to go ca.cover.matchboxar. Good. Now we need to set our minimum level to 7. target API level. We'll just go automatic highest installed. And I think that's all we really need to do for our publishing settings right now. XR settings, AR core supported. All right, virtual reality, we don't need that. Good. All right, so that is the basic package. That's all we need to do. So now I'm going to open up my window. I'm going to create, I'm going to have my ProBuilder window open. I like to slide it over here. And then we're going to create a new shape that's a cube. And so in this case, what am I trying to say? Okay, so in this case, these values, 1 by 1 by 1, represent real world values. So this is 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter. So if I want my boxes to be like a 1 meter box in your room, that's great. But I'm designing this for play on a table so that multiple people can hand the phone around, or multiple people can play around a single table. And so I'm going to make it how big should we make it? About 8 inches? Sorry, in Canada, we still have imperial and metric, and it's all jumbled up in my brain. So, hey, Cortana. Oh, Cortana doesn't want to listen to me. Anyway, let's just do it. I'll just do a quick lookup. 8 inches in meters. So the value we want here is actually... So let's call it 0.2. We don't have to be exact. All right. So there's our 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2 cube. Polygon. All right. Speaking of polygons, here is our box. So what we're going to do is we're going to hollow this box out. And thankfully ProBuilder has some great tools for that. So we're going to select this face, we're going to set scale, and we're going to hold shift, and we're going to scale the whole thing down like that. Now when I move that face down, we're going to extrude it down and just check the level on that. Good. All right, so that's what we have. We now have a little box. It's all mapped out. It's ready to go. Okay, so now we just need a lid for the box. So we're going to create another new shape. We had 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.2. So we actually want that to be 0.2 by 0.2 by 0.02 kind of thing, or maybe 0.5. Yeah, that looks good. Yeah, I don't have much for points or commands. Okay, so we're going to call this the box. And as part of that, we're going to select the object, and we're going to center the pivot on it. There we go. So you can see now that centers all that. We're going to take this guy, we're going to move him to 0, 0, 0. Actually, we're going to move him over to 1. And we're going to take the box, and we're going to move that to 1, 0, 0. Good. So now this guy also needs to have his pivot centered, so that when we set him to 1, 0, 0, he's right there. Okay, so he should be at probably 1, 2, 5. All right, there we go. We have a box with a lid. So let's actually name this lid. Okay, now we're going to open, we're going to go into my KOVR, we're going to go into materials, we're going to create a new material, and we're just going to call this the box, and that box is going to be, I don't know, what's going to look good? Kind of make it sort of an aqua-ish box. There we go. And then we're going to create a new material, and we're going to call this lid, and we're going to make that one a similar but darker aqua. Okay, now we're going to open up our window for tools, Pro Builder, editors, material editor, and we're going to set, whoops, we're going to set Alt 2 to the box and Alt 3 to the lid. I know this is a really long way of going about assigning a texture, but so then when we go Alt 2 and Alt 3, there we go. Now we have a box with a lid. I'm going to create a empty object, and we're going to call this a match box. We're going to set it to 0, 0, 0. I'm going to hide this device for now, and I'm going to hide this thing for now, which is our point cloud. And we're going to move these guys back over here, and we're going to slide them both up a little bit so that they match that. Good. All right, so that seems good. So our matchbox should be there, box and lid. So I'm going to move those inside the matchbox, and we're going to create a prefab. So prefab's just something that I can use over and over and over again that keeps its default state. Now with this guy, now how do we want the box to open? Now when we're thinking about augmented reality, you have to think about people could be looking at it from any angle. So let's use my T-box as an example. If my boxes render like this, and they're over there and they click to open the box, they're not going to see what's inside if it opens like this. So I basically need to make sure that the lid just floats up and kind of hovers directly above it and reveals what's inside it and then slams down. That's going to be the plan. Now, let's take one of our monsters that we imported from the Google Play Store. Cute Pets, prefabs. Hey, thanks for the follow, Blue Trucks. So I'm going to say let's put a sheep in the scene. Okay, so there's our sheep. Now you can see the initial scale is 1.5, 1.5, 1.3. So our sheep, let's just see what our default size should be. Okay, so for him to fit inside, they're going to need to be about 0.5. Let's hide the lid for now. And let's just see what that sheep looks like in there. Oh, yeah, it helps me think, and it makes this useful as a tutorial later if I choose to actually download it and edit it. Alright, so we're going to check this guy's position. Let's see what the size we can do here. So 0.6. I think 0.6, can he fit inside the box? Oh, just let's 0.55. Okay, so that's our scale right there, it looks like. So we've got 0.6, 0.6, 0.55, and good. All right, so our sheep will float up out of the box. Whoop. Maybe he'll do a little dance or a smile or something like that, and then he'll go back down or if he matches, then the box will turn green or something. So we'll need some way to indicate to the player that they've made a correct choice. So inside each box will need to be an empty animal spawner. And that animal spawner should sit, so I'm going to hide the sheep for now. And our animal spawner will need to sit at the point at which they will sit. So let's look at it directly from the side here. We'll just move it up about that much. And I'm just going to have a look at it in wireframe to make sure. Okay, so you can see that shows the bounds of our box. So if the animal spawns there, he'll be spawning inside the floor. So we want him to be about there. Actually, let's put him right close. Good. Okay, now we're going to apply that so that that goes back into the spawner, and we're going to unhide our lid. That goes back into the spawner. Okay, good. Alright, so we've got our Matchbox controller, so let's create that script now. So our script, we're going to create in C#, and we're going to call this the Matchbox controller. And we're going to borrow a bunch of stuff from the default controller just to speed development along. How are we doing on time? 9:08. Okay. Yeah, we got about 32 minutes to get a working something going. We're going to speed this. Okay, so I'm going to go back in here, and we're going to go to the example controllers. We're going to pop open the Hello AR controller, and I'm going to copy over all the junk that I need. Okay, so before I copy that, I'm going to put in a public vector. So that's just 3 numbers, X, Y, Z, and I'm going to call this default animal scale, and we're going to go back to this and we're going to fill that in because I just figured that out. So we're going to so I'm going to add my Matchbox controller here, and I think we ended up at 0.6, 0.6, 0.55 for our animal scale. Good. And now in the Hello AR controller, we're going to need these. So we're going to need the Google AR Core and Examples Common. So we'll put those at the top. Using input equals instant preview input. So we're going to swap. We're going to put that in as well, just below here. So what the instant preview input is. Let's find out where that is. Okay, good. So that's in there. We'll have to fix a couple little things as we go because I'm not in the same namespace. So we've got first person detected. So all of these things, all right, sorry, lost track of my brain there. I was explaining what the instant preview input is. That just allows me to hook my phone up to Unity and see what my phone's seeing through Unity. Okay, so I'm going to create a region that is, we're just going to call it default AR Core inputs, or sorry, setup. We'll just call it setup. And then we're going to end region here. There we go. And now all of this stuff, that just lets me fold that code so that I can keep it separate from my setup, which is in here. All right, and where does that come from? So we've got this show Android toast message, do quit, update application lifestyle. So those are the default ones that we want. And we're going to put another region down here. Default AR core functions. We're going to end that region. And then we're going to pop those in there, and we will hopefully not have to look at them again for very long. Doesn't look like there's any errors in the copy, so that's good. And so now in the update, we're going to need this for sure, the update application lifestyle. Lifestyle? Lifestyle. That's right. Updating AR core is the lifestyle choice. Get trackables all planes, so show searching, set active. Okay, so, and this is actually, that's all useful too. So again, we're going to put another region in here. We're going to call this one default AR core life cycle. And we're going to go down below this. Actually, we're going to end that region right there because I'm going to need to make some changes to this touch stuff. Good. All right, so we're almost there. It's been a long road. It's been a long road. I thank you for sticking with me. This has all been just getting the project set up. Takes a while. All right, so, and we're going to copy these components, and we're going to put those onto... nope, we can't do that. All right, so the first person camera will be this. Detected plane prefab is currently detected plane visualizer. Okay, so that's good. So we need that as well. This Andy Android prefab we can take out. We're not going to use that. So let's go in here. That'll be in our default, and Andy can go. Andy's a little Android that they use for their example stuff. So you can see him right here. Maybe. Nope, I just messed him up. Alright, so you can see him a little bit there without his... so yeah, we're not going to need him. Morning, Mike. Hello. But instead, we are going to need our default box. So, we're going to go into our controller, and we're going to fold up this default section, and we're going to have a public game object, and we're going to call this the Matchbox prefab. Good. So you can see it just appeared over there. I'm going to put the searching for plane UI in there, and then I'm going to put in the Matchbox prefab, which I'll find in my KOVR prefabs. All right, so Now we're going to do something I like to do, which is I'm going to create a public class, and I'm going to call this a matchbox. And that's going to have a public game object. And that's we're going to call that the box, and we're going to have a public so what I'm trying to accomplish here is that I need a way to track each one of these items in a way so that I know what's inside the box. So I'm going to create an enumerator called animal type, and I'm also going to have a public animal type animal. All right, so that way I can compare multiples. And so animal types will be, let's see what ones we have. We'll pick like 5 of them kind of thing. If we're going to have, let's start with a 4x4 grid. So if we have a 4x4 grid, that means we have 16 boxes. Cut that in half because you're matching 2, which will mean that we have 8 animals. Hopefully there's 8 animals in this. Oh, more than 8. Okay, so let's go with, I'm not going to use the alpaca because he's probably too tall for it. We're going to use mostly the roundish sort of ones. So we'll go for a cat. So we'll go cat. A duck. A pig. A pig, not a pick. A sheep. Did I say I only needed 4? No, I need 8. Dog or dog B? Which one's cuter? Let's go for dog B. Anyway, but we'll call it a dog for now. And chicken, cow. What are we at now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's choose one more out of here. I already did duck, right? Did I do rabbit yet? Rabbit may or may not fit with those ears. We'll have to see. But we'll try it. Okay, so that's our animals. And then in here, we want a public list of animals. Oh wait, of match boxes. Did I copy it? Yeah. And we'll just call that boxes. So boxes equals new list of matchboxes. Good. So now we've got a matchbox prefab. Oh, and we want to add system serializable to this. And now what that does is that allows us to have let's just do it this way. We'll go public game object, and we'll call this animal prefab. That way we'll be able to change them at runtime if we want. Cool. All right, so now if we go to our controller, we should have these boxes. So we're going to need 16 boxes. This is kind of the long way of setting it up, but okay, so this first one's going to be a cat. So let's look at our cats. That one's cute-ish. Actually, this one's more distinctive. It's weird, but it's distinctive, so we'll go with that. So we'll go cat B for the prefab. This does not feel like it's the easiest way to do this. Let's just do this in code. So what we're going to do is on start, we're going to just create those new boxes. So for So we're going to do an integer here that is number of matches oops, and we're going to go int x equals 0, x is less than number of matches, x plus plus. And then we're going to do the same thing. So what we're doing here is we're going to iterate through the number of matches that we want. Sorry, just trying to sort my thought out there. Okay, good. So, and we're going to say that the maximum okay, just setting up a couple of things here, and I'll explain them in a second. So the maximum number of matches will be 8 because that's how many okay. So basically what I've done there is I've created a maximum number of matches. We only have 8 animals, so so that's as much as we can do, right? So even if I put in here, let's wait for it to refresh. So you can see here, if I put 2 matches, then it's going to create a 2x2 grid with 2 animals. Good. All right. So, we're going to do game object. Wow, I should have thought this out better before I started. Okay, so we need another system serializer. So we are going to have to do 8 of these. So we're going to move this out of here. No, not really. It could have been an int. You know, it probably actually should be, now that I think about it. There we go. Just kind of typed that by habit. So we want a public matchbox dot animal type. Okay, there we go. So we actually want this to be a little bit different. So I'm going to make this private. And we're going to make this a public box type, box types. There we go. And I'm going to move that down because I like to keep my publics and privates separate. There we go. Okay, so this way we don't have to set up 16 boxes, we just have to set up 8 box types. Alright, so cat, and that has this prefab. Next one is a duck, and we'll use duck B. This one can be a pig, and we'll use the pig. This one can be a sheep, and we'll use sheep B. That's a pretty classic looking one. This one can be a dog, and which dog did I decide on? Dog B, maybe? Yeah. And this one can be a chicken, and we'll use the rooster, and we'll do cow and cow. And finally, we'll do rabbit and wabbit. Good. Good. So that's it. That defines our box types. Now, ideally, these would not be configured in here. I'd want to set those up as a scriptable object, but it takes longer to set up scriptable objects. And I'm just not going to do that right now. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to instantiate one of our Matchbox prefabs every time. So we're going to say Matchbox MB equals new Matchbox. And then mb.box equals instantiate game object, and then our prefab here, so we're creating a clone of that Matchbox prefab. Good. And mb dot animal equals, and we're just going to start at the top of that boxes list, so the box types, and because we need because we're using this Matchbox for the spawned thing, we're also going to do a public game object animal. Okay, we're going to make that animal type. Okay, good. So that'll spawn 2 of every single one of them. No. So the number of matches should always be this, and then here we always want to just spawn 2 of everything. So we're going to make y equal to 2. Otherwise it's going to grow exponentially, and I don't want that to happen. See? I'm not a great programmer, but I'm an occasionally almost good programmer. All right. Okay, so mb.animal equals, and we're going to instantiate box type x dot animal prefab, and mb.animal.transform.local position equals mb.box.transform.find. What did we call that animal spawner? Oh. .transform.position. There's probably a better way to do this, but that's a quick way. And we'll do local position. Let's not get those mixed up. Always better to deal with local positions than to deal with full world positions. It's faster and also less confusing in the long run. All right, so in theory, when I run this, I should end up, you know what, I'm going to make this public just so I can see what's inside the boxes to start with. Alright, let's, out of curiosity, let's just start this bad boy up and see what happens. Alright, do we get any bugs? Any glitches? No real errors. Oops, let's turn it off isometric. Oh. Okay, so I set my number of matches to how many? 2. So we should have 4 boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got 2 with cats and 2 with ducks. Now one thing that I should do, if I move this, the animal inside won't move with it. So, we're going to set the parent of the animals equal to the mb.box.transform, and now that should nest them in neatly inside their boxes, and we should only get 4 boxes. There we go. So we've got 4 boxes. So if I slide this one over here, slide this one over here, and slide this one over here, and then we pop, and then we look for lids, and we hide all their lids. There we go. We have 2 boxes with ducks and 2 boxes with cats. And the cats look like they're almost peeking out from inside there, and that's because we didn't set their scales. So animal.transform.local scale equals default animal scale. Okay, so that thing that we did so long ago, so I can get rid of this matchbox prefab for now. I'm just going to hide it. And oops. we're going to mb.box.transform.translate and all we're going to do there is we're going to move it over on the x-axis a little bit. So we're going to go x times 0.4 float, comma 0, comma 0. And that's just going to move them out of the way by default. We'll comment that out later because we're going to want to randomize their position. But for now, that'll at least... Oops. We also want to move them along the y-axis so that they create a grid. There we go. Now if we hide the lids, we should see that we have spawned animals inside that fit fairly well. And if we move our event system up, our Matchbox controller up, and we move it to the maximum number of 8 matches, we should get 2 rows of 8, each with different animals in them. Again, we're going to hide all the lids and just make sure that that's spawned properly. So there we go, 2 bunnies, 2 cows, 2 chickens, sheep, pigs, ducks, and cats. There we go. Morning, David. All right, so that's a pretty good start for today. I think we've got a meeting coming up here in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to stretch, get myself some coffee, and call it for today. I did not make an entire AR game in an hour as I expected, but yeah, it is what it is. Thanks everyone for joining me, and yeah, we're going to call that for today. I might come on a little bit later and polish this guy up, but probably won't be for a couple hours. Again, thanks for joining me, and I hope you all have a great day.